Welcome to The Stacks, a podcast about books and the people who read them. I'm your host, Tracy Thomas, and today I am joined by Novena Carmel. Novena is a co-host of one of my favorite radio shows, KCRW's flagship, Morning Becomes Eclectic. We talk today about how Novena thinks about the responsibility of setting the musical tone and creating a vibe for the entire city of Los Angeles every single day, what it was like for her growing up with a super famous musical father, Sly Stone of Sly and the Family Stone, and in a family of a bunch of musicians and musically inclined people. And we talk about the simplicity of children's books, especially for adults. This month's book club selection is Shine Bright, A Very Personal History of Black Women in Pop by Danielle Smith. We will discuss the book on May 25th when Novena Carmel returns to the show. As a reminder, everything we talk about on each episode of The Stacks can be found in the link in the show notes. If you love this show and want more of it, join the Stacks Pack. That's our exclusive community for all of you book lovers out there with a bunch of bonus content, including our Discord community, our monthly virtual book club conversations, and bonus episodes. Plus, you get discounts on merch and shout outs on the show. Not to mention, The Stacks is an entirely independent podcast. So the way that I'm able to make the show week in and week out is with the support of people in the Stacks Pack. So if you like what you hear and you want to get involved, head to patreon.com/thestacks to join. Here are some of our newest members of the Stacks Pack: Jeff M., Jamie Clay, Beth Ann Ray, Trisha Nositi, Demery Michaels, and Jill Munzer. Thank you all so much, and thank you to the entire Stacks Pack. All right, now it's time for my conversation with Novena Carmel. All right, everybody, I'm very excited because today's guest is a music person, a music savant, perhaps. I don't know, a very music person who I also know totally separate from her work in like a very weird family type of way. So I'm excited to have a friend and a friend of the podcast, Novena Carmel. Welcome to the Stacks.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm so excited to talk to you. So I guess we always sort of start here, which is sort of boring, but just to give people a sense of who you think that you are, will you tell people a little bit about yourself? They've already heard your like professional bio in the real intro. So this is more of like, give us a little inside scoop on Novena.
Wow. It's always so interesting trying to describe who you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, definitely I'm a music person, as you said. I just love music in all of its forms. I love singing, playing music for people, going to live music. I'm kind of like a person who likes to try things before saying no.
Oh,
Hence me being here.
yeah. I
Not
love
that I was
this.
tempted to say no, but it's just like, yeah, sure, let's talk about books. I'm usually, submersed in music, audio, which leaves it so that I don't have as much time to read. But I'm like, let's talk about books. Let's see what comes out of that. And I feel like I am forever young, old soul, timeless. When folks ask me my age, they say, how old are you? I say, I'm old enough and I'm young enough.
Yes. And for you guys can't see Novena, but Novena is truly like one of those people that is a light in the world. Like every time Novena walks into a room, I feel like it's just like instantly brighter and like more
Oh,
fun and such a vibe. So, what is your relationship to books?
um, I feel like books are kind of like someone I have a crush on, but don't get to like engage with in that person.
Wait, that's sort of how I feel about music.
Yeah,
So I'm excited.
cool. Yeah. We can learn from each other, I'm sure. Yeah, but I have a bookshelf. There's books on them.
That's a good place to start.
I start a lot of books and I don't finish them often.
Why don't you finish? Because you run out of time or you just lose interest or the book wasn't that good?
I think I sort of get distracted, like with other things that are going on, especially these days. I listen to a lot of music and now I have to listen to music. So it tends to come first. And it's when you're preparing for a radio show, it's kind of like you can never listen to too much or enough
Mhm.
music, especially when you want to know what's new and if it's good and how it flows together. So I would say put it on the back burner.
Can
Yeah.
you listen to music when you read, or when you're listening to music for work, are you listening like in a different way than how I just like have music on?
Oh, that's a great question. So I think that's the other thing for me with reading is I get distracted really easily if there's any words around me. So if someone's
Okay.
talking, if there's a TV show on, or music with words, cannot do. But I love listening to music without words, like classical music or jazz or something ambient while I'm reading, or like when I was in college and writing essays, that was my go-to, you know?
And were you a kid, or I guess from your childhood all the way through your schooling, were you like, what kind of reader were you in school? Like I was never read the books in school, even though I love reading. I always was like, this book is whack. I'm not doing this.
It really depended. There were some really cool books that I read in school, and I think that whoever the teacher was always made it more interesting. I
Mm,
liked a lot of the reading that I did in college, but there was usually too much reading. And I don't know, I don't find like that I'm a fast reader. I think other people might be faster than myself. So there's definitely some skimming, some cliff notes, watching the movie instead of
yeah,
reading the book.
for sure, for sure, for sure.
But when I was a kid, I loved to read, like I had all the classic kids stuff like Berenstain Bears and
Okay.
Sweet Valley Twins,
Yes.
The Babysitter's Club.
Yes.
um, yeah.
I love the Sweet Valleys, love the Babysitter Club. Was not a Berenstein Bears person. Okay, I want to talk about your radio show. Morning Becomes Eclectic. It's like a little
Okay.
over a year, right? It's like a year and a half.
Yeah. So I've been DJing at KCRW for a handful of years, but myself and my co-host Anthony Valadez, we took over Morning Becomes Eclectic last February. So February 2021.
Oh my gosh. Okay. And tell people about it. It's an LA radio show. It's a morning music show. It's the only way I learn about new music or any music. Old music too. I'm like, every time I listen, I'm like, how have I never heard this song before? You're like, this is some great shit from the 70s. And I'm like, literally never heard this.
Yeah, so I love that. We kind of try to do a mix of playing songs that feel familiar to people either because they know them or it has an energy of something that they're familiar with, including old music. Love putting on folks to music that might be old but might be new to them or even new to us because we're constantly discovering. And then obviously new artists, often shining a light on artists that might not get play on commercial radio. Everyone's equal. It's as far as like the consideration of who will play, it's just whoever we feel like sounds right for the show. So you don't have to have a budget or whatever.
Right.
And it's also about like waking up with Los Angeles, creating a sense of community and connection, especially during the recent times when folks feel isolated. Time and time again, people are like, the music is great, I love it, but I also just love your personalities. You make me laugh, you make me feel warm. I really feel like you guys are my friends and you're there all the time. And some folks just love the banter. So it's kind
Yeah.
of it's music is the focus, but it's packaged in this way that's unique to our relationship and the way we are as humans. And Anthony and I have been friends for a while now, like 10 years, and we did podcasts together before. And we always felt like we wanted to do a real long-term project together. And so this is the sort of the culmination of that too.
Okay, I have a lot of questions about how you guys make the show, but the most important question to me is, how do you find the music and how do you decide what you're going to play on a given day? Like, how do you two navigate that? Are you like, yo, I really want to play this track tomorrow, like here it is? Or do you each say like, okay, we're going to switch off? Or like, how do you actually build the soundtrack for the morning for the rest of us?
Okay, so we do switch off as far as who starts the show. So it's basically alternating. And pretty much whatever we're playing in our sets, we decide individually, although our taste does overlap and we find, the same songs a lot of the time. And typically we don't figure out everything we're going to play in advance because we like to play off of each other. So it would
Okay.
be too much coordination to be like, okay, what are you going to play in advance? So I'll think about how I want to start the show. And then I think Anthony will sort of play off of that. And then I'm like, okay, it's been this mood for a while. So let's switch it to this. Or that song reminds me of another song. So I'm going to play that in the next set. And then we also try to make sure that as a music department as a whole, if there's artists, albums, songs that we're excited about, that we keep those songs in rotation.
Mm,
Because when I first started, I kind of had this like mentality of I don't want to play the same things too much, but
I
the
see.
average listener is not sitting there for 3 hours listening to every song. So you're actually doing a disservice to the artist if you don't play the songs that you love or the artists you love multiple times. So we do have intentions with that. And then there's other things too, like, if it's someone's birthday, we may play their music. If
I see.
it's, something super LA related, maybe there's an LA song and it can be mellow or it can be something upbeat. And I almost feel like, what is the energy of the day? You
Mm.
know?
Well, is it like, do you feel a responsibility that you're also setting the energy of the day for other people? Like, do you ever come into work some days and you're like, my energy is feeling like very low stakes. And then you're like, okay, am I going to bring that to all of LA? Or are you like, okay, like I got to, like, I'm having a personal thing, but like, or do you try to bring in how you're feeling to what you bring to the rest of us?
I usually try to think of bringing in an energy that's going to elevate. So it doesn't have to be like, hey, positivity, here's a song that's going to lift you up. You know what I mean? Like sometimes people need to have something cathartic,
Uh-huh.
but I usually, like, at least to start the show, stray away from anything that would sound too dark or depressing
Right.
lyrically or something
Right.
like that. But sometimes the weather can affect that. Like if it's cloudy, what kind of
Mm,
makes sense. But you definitely, as far as what we're playing and even how we're talking, good morning, you're tuned into Morning Becomes Eclectic. I try to bring that, like, hello, you're welcome. We're so happy you're here. We're here
yeah.
together. We also often come right out of the news, and often the news doesn't have the most
Yeah.
um cheery items
Yeah.
that are discussed.
It's been pretty bleak these days.
So it's sometimes it's like, okay, now we're gonna recalibrate together.
Yeah.
I try to
Yeah.
like, let's hear something positive, forget that.
Yeah. It's just like a more gentle ushering into the day
Mhm,
kind of thing.
mhm,
I love it. I think it's like a cool, at least for me as a person who likes music but isn't like into music, like I'm very whatever is like pop top available hip hop, like the stars, that's what I listen to. I'm not a deep cuts person, but what I love is that I usually think of like DJing as being something that people do at night at the club. And what
mhm,
I love about your show is that it's a different form of DJing, and it does feel like sort of holistic in the sense that you guys are like curating
yeah.
this like vibe for a city, which is really different than like, hey, there's 250 people in this club and it's like hip hop night. Like that's like a very different kind of DJing. And I think what's cool about you guys, it's like you're educating us and you're like setting us up for the day. And like I'm learning new things. I always forget to like put out my sound hound to like listen, but I'm like, but I just love it. Like, cause it's stuff that I would just never listen to. I would never find it without you guys, which I don't know. I think that's like a really cool thing that you do. I don't know. Is that a difficult responsibility for you, or do you ever think about it in that way?
I love it. It's sort of creating a live mixtape, and I love documentaries,
Mhm.
and the thing that I love documentaries is like information, I guess you could say. I mean,
Yeah.
personalities, real stories, but just I love knowing things. I love learning about things. And
Hmm.
so, and then when I learn about things, I love telling that story or fascinating fact or whatever to other people. So
Right.
this is that opportunity to do that, like tell people why this song is important or amazing. And sometimes it's like the other day we played a song, it was like a Stevie Wonder cover from the 70s by this Indian band, and it doesn't really like sound good. They kind of like are off key,
Okay.
but I love when you know the context that it's like this 70s obscure band from India, and it's like how many like hard rock psychedelic bands were doing Stevie Wonder covers at the time. So knowing the context makes it interesting. And it's not even about always, do you like this song or is this something you can dance to? It's like, what's the conversation around it?
Right.
And sometimes I wish we could have more conversation because people will have immediate reactions that I would like to talk to them more about, which you can't fully do. But yeah, opening the conversation, adding more context is really cool. And there are a lot of people that say that they enjoy that about the show as well.
What was the song so that I can link to it in the show notes so people can
Um,
hear what you're talking about?
what I can't even think of the title of the song. That's so crazy. Looking back on when I
Oh yeah.
was a snappy headed boy.
Mm, mm, mm.
Yeah, you know the song.
Mm, mm, mm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my brain is fried right
Mm,
now.
mm, 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 mm.
I wish.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay.
And the band is called Atomic Forest.
Okay. Okay. I'll
Uh,
link to it in the show notes so that people can listen to that too. Um,
just know what you think about that version.
yes. Let us know what you guys think. Call in to what is it? KCR
Call the stack. Don't call
yeah.
me.
Don't call me either. Just call your mom and tell her what you thought of it. Okay. You have this not weird, you have this like born connection to music. Your dad is Sly Stone from the family Stone, for those of you who are familiar with famous Stones. What's it like being a music person with like this famous family thing? Like, were you, when you were a kid, did you know you loved music? Was it part of who you were, or was it something that you learned from exposure, or like, I don't know. I'm always fascinated by people who are raised with like incredible artists and how they then turn their lives into becoming incredible artists.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to know what element impacted my love of music because my whole family is very artistic, like on both sides of my family, my mom's side as well. And my mom grew up in Brazil, surrounded by interesting artists. My aunt's late husband was a really prolific bossa nova Brazilian musician. And then my mom just loved music. Like I remember we would, dance to records in the living room. Lots of like great 80s records, Guns N' Roses, Michael Jackson, NXS. And then my grandfather, he was really supportive of me learning to play the piano. So he bought me a piano when I was like 6 years old. So there's always
Wow.
been music around me. And probably more so when I was young with my mom's side, because I didn't really live much with my dad. Although sometimes I would go to church, like to hang out with his family. And that was where I felt like I had no rhythm because they would be like playing the tambourine so good. And it was weird. It was like, wow, this, I felt like I wasn't really connected to that and I wanted to be more so.
Mm,
And going into middle school, well, in elementary school, I went to a Japanese bilingual elementary school in San Francisco, and it was like a very insulated, lovely environment. And then I went to middle school, and it was like a public middle school in the Mission District, and it was a great school. It was so cool, but there was like not but and there was even more cultures there, and like basically I went to school and folks were like, you sound white. Are you an Oreo? And I would just hang out who I wanted to. And like these Black girls would come over and be like, you need to get in where you fit in. Are you Black? That kind of stuff. And I remember being at a dance and I was just dancing and I overheard this Filipino girl say, damn, I thought all Black people could dance. And I was like, ah,
wow.
this is
The
horrible.
shade.
And I mean, this is kind of an aside, but it's just like all the story of like music and rhythm in my life and feeling like, okay, I need to learn how to dance and I need to like learn rhythm a little better, apparently. But as I got older, and then I think all of that stuff kind of made me shy in a certain way, like to put myself out there
Mm,
and to be a musician, because it was like those little moments when I did, I kind of was like feeling like I wasn't good enough. And then when I would compare it to actual famous people in my family who were more than good enough, it was like, where do I fit in here?
right.
So it took me a while to feel more emboldened. And when I actually started singing is when I was living in Japan for 6 months. And we had a going away party after living there, the program that I was with, and we performed a song that we wrote. And I loved performing it, and the energy was
Mm,
great. So then I was like, okay, I could do this. And so I came back feeling a little bit more confident, but still like it is that sense of like, okay, the first time that I perform, people are going to be comparing me.
right.
But then as time went on, if I ever felt like I doubted myself in that arena, one of the things that I'll go back to is literally like, I lived in my dad's balls. So definitely some of that legendary ability to be great is in me.
Right, right, right. Did you love documentaries? I'm sure you saw Summer of Soul.
Oh, yes, yes. I definitely did see it. I actually had the opportunity to help out with a little bit. My name is in the credits.
Oh, shout
Um,
out.
oh yeah, brilliant documentary. Amazing, amazing.
It was
Questlove.
so good.
Yeah, I can't even say enough about it. And what I'm really excited about additionally is Questlove is going to be directing the documentary about my dad.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah.
But that's like next up for him.
Yeah, I mean, he's
Started.
Oscar winning. He was already super busy. Yeah. So, but I know it's in the works. So
That's
I'm
super
excited. I
exciting.
told him I can't think of anybody else I'd rather have doing it.
Yeah, I mean, fucking Questlove, Oscar winner,
Yeah,
Questlove. Like, I mean, it's pretty high stakes there. That's
yeah.
very cool. Okay, before we go back to books,
Hmm.
can you just like tell people who are listening to the show who maybe are like me? Because I know a lot of my listeners, we've talked about this before. We like music, but we suck at finding cool music. Where
Hmm.
can we go? Where should we be like listening? Like, what's like baby's intro to not just listening to top 40s?
Listen to my show.
Oh, but your guys' show is not a podcast, right? They have to listen through
You
KCRW
can
or
listen
whatever.
through the app
Through the app. Okay. I'm going
anywhere.
to link
Yeah,
to everything. I just listen
yeah,
off my computer, just like when I'm working. Like I
yeah.
just pull it up. But I did try to find it as a podcast and I was like, I can't find it.
Oh, yeah, yeah. No, it's not a podcast. You can listen on the website live or the archives. You can do the same on the app. Any of the DJs at KCRW are going to put you on to some amazing music, and people find the DJs that make the most sense for them. You know, some people have different styles, but I'm not even trying to just hype up what we do. But honestly, it's a great place to learn about a lot of songs. Otherwise, I mean, I don't even know where I find music. Yeah, I
You
guess there's
just,
different playlists that I follow and stuff like that,
mm.
that have some cool stuff. But
And who is like your favorite super famousy type artist right now? Like, so for people who can get a sense of what you like who is like the famous version of what you're into? Who's like, you know what I'm getting at?
someone current that is famous that people might know that I like.
Hmm. Yeah, you did that better than me. You can have my job.
Who do I like? I really like James Blake. Is he famous enough?
Yeah, he's famous. He did a
Yeah.
song with Beyonce, so he's famous.
Rosalia. Do you know her?
I don't, but I'm also not a great person. I know like 7 artists. So
She's awesome. Black Coffee. I mean, these are kind of like famous adjacent. He just won a Grammy. Kate Renata. We do play like The Weeknd's new album because it's really cool and interesting.
wait,
Uh,
that's how you say that, K Trinata? I know exactly what you're talking about, but I just always see that because I used to teach spin. I used to play their music in my spin classes.
yeah,
But I used to just like be like, oh, like like sometimes you see a word in a book and you don't know how to pronounce it. So you're just like, oh, okay, then like I literally have never attempted to say that out loud, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
that is so funny. Kate Renata, yeah, big time. Solange would be another one that I,
Sure.
easily play on the show. Tame Impala.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. You've done good. Okay, we're gonna take a quick break and then we're gonna come back with all the book shit. Valentine's Day is upon us, and I've got love on the brain. Love for books, duh, of course. Hello. Did you forget what podcast you're listening to? I love bringing you all great reads, exclusive author interviews, and behind the scenes book gossip. But I can only do that with your support over on Patreon and Substack. Our Stacks Patreon community, also known as the Stacks Pack, is where you can go for book club meetups, a private, very active Discord, and a year-long mega reading challenge to help you achieve all your reading goals. Plus, you also get that monthly bonus episode. Now, over on the Substack, you can subscribe to my newsletter, Unstacked, where I keep the book conversations going. I also give you a healthy dose of sports and pop culture. Definitely some hot takes happening over there. And again, that bonus episode. If you don't have a few dollars to spare, don't worry. There are free options on the Substack and the Patreon to get you a little extra Stacks magic. Making this podcast is a total team effort, and by supporting my Patreon and my Substack, you allow me to support my amazing team that makes the show possible every single week. So if you or your friends are looking to meet other book lovers and support this indie podcast, come hang out with me on Patreon, Substack, or both. I would love to have you. And since we're talking about love, you can gift subscriptions to the Patreon and the Substack for that special reader in your life. For the Stacks Pack, head to patreon.com/thestacks. And for the newsletter, head to tracythomas.substack.com. And also, there are links to both in the show notes. Okay, see you in the Stacks. All right, we're back. Book shit time. Okay, I did not prep you. This is the one thing I did not prep you for. This is sort of a pop quiz.
Oh my goodness.
We do this thing called Ask the Stacks, where someone has written in asking for a book recommendation. So I'm going to read to you what they said, and then I'm going to give them 3 recommendations. You can give them just one. You do not have to feel pressure, but it's my job to do 3.
Okay.
Okay, so this comes from Julie, and Julie says, which this is a great intro, Julie. Thank you for, this is very radio show. Longtime listener, first time recommendations. I am an avid reader of all sorts of genres, but I have found myself in charge of a book club with some of my colleagues. We are looking for something to spark conversations among a group of professional women, and we love to learn something. We've read 3 books so far. The first book is How to Be an Anti-Racist by Ibram Kendi, which went over well. We had a great conversation, but we felt it was a little too textbook-like. The second book was Braving the Wilderness by Brené Brown. No one really liked this. Sorry, Brené. But I don't think this type of nonfiction self-help is what we're looking for. And then the third one is Men We Reaped by Jesmyn Ward. Everybody loved this. Great writer with a compelling memoir. Went over very well. We laughed, we cried, we loved it. Any recommendations? They're counting on me, so thank you in advance.
Wow.
Okay. I'll go first because I was able to prep for this. You just think of a good book club pick. So my first, you guys did all nonfiction, so I'm going to go ahead and just stick to the nonfiction theme with my recs. The first one is The Year of Magical Thinking by Joan Didion. It's about the year after her husband died suddenly and her daughter was like in the hospital. She like went into sepsis. Anyways, it's about grief and how we navigate and like memory. And I think that this book, as you all know, I've been obsessed with grief recently. And I think it's something interesting to think about and talk about in community. So this might be like an interesting sort of shift for you guys. My second pick is Just Mercy by Bryan Stevenson, which is about Bryan Stevenson is the activist lawyer. He does a lot of work, or he does pretty much all his work in getting people off death row, protecting young people who are juveniles who have been convicted to life in prison without the possibility of parole and or death. And so it's a book sort of about the carceral system, and there's just so much to talk about. It's also just a fantastic read. So even if the conversation isn't as poppin' as you'd like, you're all gonna love the fucking book. I promise. It's so good. It's one of my favorite books ever. And then my third one is Stakes is High by Michael Denzel Smith, who was on the show last year. And his book is sort of about like the American dream and what it looks like and how it has maybe changed for him, a Black guy in New York, after Donald Trump's election. But it's not like election-y, but it was inspired by that. It's just really well done. And there's a lot to talk about, like how we're all implicated in a lot of things that we would like to pretend like we're not a part of. So I think that one's ripe for conversation. So those are my 3 picks. Novena, any book club pick recommendation?
Oh my God, those sound like some amazing picks, Tracy. I was really hoping that while you were talking, I would think of something.
Okay.
Which I did not. I mean, there's books that I love that I recommend to people, but I don't know about for a book club to have conversation.
Well, what are some of the books that you like to recommend to people?
Oh, I just love The Book of Joy. That's like my favorite book.
I feel like that would be great for conversation because people could talk about the different ways that they engage and participate and practice joy.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah.
Don't you think I would love that.
No,
all of mine are depressing. Yeah, that would be very fun. I'm telling you, Novena is a light. She's a light. My God, I am a light putter outer.
The Book of Joy, if you're not familiar with it, is there was an author who followed the conversations of Archbishop Desmond Tutu and the Dalai Lama, who are old friends. Well, of course, Archbishop Desmond Tutu passed away recently. And they're both individuals who have been through really hard times throughout their lives, but have remained joyful. And the conversations are, there's excerpts from them, and then sort of like paragraphs that are written by the author who put the book together. And there's just so much goodness. To me, it's like a Bible. And if you're in a place where it even touches on, like it's very, it's not possible to just be like, just be happy, just be joyful.
Right.
But because they've been through so much, they have these really cool examples of how to find something
Mm-hmm.
regardless of what situation you're in. And I just love it. So it's a
That
book
sounds
that
like
makes
an
me
incredible book to talk about. Are you kidding? Okay, Julie, if you read any of our picks, you have to let us know what you think. Everyone else, you can email askthestacks@thestackspodcast.com for your book recommendations. Okay, 2 books you love and 1 book you hate.
Oh Lord. I don't hate any books. I've forgotten. I've cut them out of my memory if I hated them. I have to answer that. A book that
Well, I mean, I don't know. Didn't you read something in school you hated?
I
These
don't
people
remember.
people are always like, I don't know. And I'm like, all I do is hate books. Like I remember every book I've ever hated. I hate every book I've ever read. I mean, not exactly. No, I
No,
mean, if you really can't remember one, that's okay. But maybe one will come to you later.
yeah, maybe. My a good friend of mine, he told me something that his grandmother said, which is, "I've been blessed with a bad memory," and I
Mm.
really related to that
I
sentiment.
am the opposite. I am like, I remember every little thing. My family like despises this about me. They'll be like, oh, we da da da. I'm like, actually, it was a Tuesday because the trash got picked up that day. You guys don't remember that? They're like, it was 1994. I'm like, I know, but the trash came.
No, I mean, sometimes it's bad though, because I'll be talking to someone and ask them if they've seen a movie. They're like, "Yeah, we saw it together."
That never happens to me. I cannot relate to this at all.
But that's great for your work. I mean, reading books. I feel like if I read more books, I'd have a better memory.
I don't know. I do forget a lot of things that I read. Like for a lot of books, I know that I've read it, but I can't always remember like what it was about. But I can
Yeah,
usually can remember how it made me feel,
yeah.
or like if it like irritated me, or like if it reminded me of something. But I often cannot remember the actual plot of a lot of books.
Hmm.
Okay, what about 2 books you love? You must have that.
Well, I mean, I love the Book of Joy. I just
Okay,
mentioned that.
yeah, yeah.
I love, love, love it. Another book that I always think of is A Small Place by Jamaica Kincaid.
Okay, I've never
Um,
read that.
it is one that I think I read it in college, or it may have been high school, and it's very short, and the way that it's written is really interesting. It talks to the reader like in the third person. It's like,
Mm,
you this, you that, you think this. And it's sort of like based on an island, and Jamaican Kincaid is also from an island. It's based on the island Antigua, and it's juxtaposing like the tourist's vision of what it means to go on vacation and visit an island
mm,
versus what the experience is like for a person who's from there, and how
mm.
one person's vacation can be another person's prison. It's very simple but very deep at the same time. And ever since then, whenever I travel, I think of that book and how I am interacting with the culture of a place that I go to, and not wanting to be like an ugly tourist.
Yeah. That also sounds like a great book club book. I'm just saying.
Yeah, yeah, that could be actually. You're right.
My favorite book this year is this book called this, or one of my favorite books this year is called this book called The Swimmers. And there's sections of the book that are also in that you voice. And it's like
Mm.
exhilarating to read that.
Mhm.
It's just like, it's so, because it's like an indictment on the reader. Like all of a sudden you're part of this thing. Like it's like
Yeah,
you can't escape it. You can't be like, oh, that's someone else. It's like, no, you, I'm talking to you, dear reader.
yeah, yeah. And it's funny too, because being on the radio, one of the big notes that I got is to always say you as much as possible. Not
Mm,
you all, not everybody, not even I, not us. to say you as much as possible. So the power of that, instead of saying like, oh, here's a song that I really like because it reminds me of, going to the beach and swimming in the ocean, it's more powerful to say, if you've ever gone to the beach and walked into the water and feel the water going up your legs, and you hear the sound of the waves and the sun beaming down on you and the smell of sunscreen, that is what this song might remind you of. Something like that.
Yeah. Oh my
It's so
gosh, you're
much.
so good. Okay, professional radio person, go off. I love this. Can't wait to listen to this song. I'm going to try to start doing that with this show, and people are going to be like, what is she doing? Like, you are going to love this book. You open it up, you turn the pages, you read the words.
I'm
It's a
telling you,
vibe. It does. It really puts you right in the moment.
Yeah.
Are you reading anything right now?
So there's a DJ named Natasha Diggs who's absolutely fantastic. And she's one of those people that it's like everything she does is a recommendation. So she like wears clothes and you're like, I want those clothes. And she has 45 records and it's like, oh my God, your taste is amazing. She's eating food and you're like, I want to eat that food. So she recommended this book from a local bookstore in New York or something like that recently. And I picked it up and it's actually based on the essays of this old Sufi philosopher. I believe he was Indian, and it's talking about how there's basically music and vibration and harmony in the universe. So it's sort of you can think of music as this thing that you listen to or whatever, and there's like the rhythm of the music, but he's showing all the ways how that is in everything when you are vibing with the person. I mean, even the word vibing, it's like vibrating. You're in harmony and then it's like musical, and the way that he writes it, it's just, it feels like so delightful. And the book is, it's called The Sufi Message of Hazrat Inayat Khan. And this volume that I'm reading is called The Mysticism of Sound.
Do you read a lot of books about music?
I read a lot of articles about musicians.
Okay.
Maybe not
like profiles.
Yeah, like if there's something, different articles that are online, I guess you could say, that are published online. Or just like if I want to learn more about an artist that I'm talking about, I just find everything. I mean, even I'm interviewing artists all the time, right? So it's like learning more about them. But the thing that I love about this book is I'm really into sort of like esoteric things, spirituality, stuff that we feel elevated, hence the Book of Joy. So this is sort of like a combination of two I love, and how
like music and the esoteric world.
Yeah, and how it really is one and the same. And a lot of people say music is healing, and this kind of like dives into why it really is.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know that much about music. I know how music makes me feel, though.
That's all you need to know.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's all I do know. Like, I feel like music holds so much like memory. Like there's so much in music that's like you can hear a song and people always talk about this like instantly being back in this place, or like it brings up things. And I feel like of all the art forms, music is the one that most does that for me. But I feel like I also just listen to the same music because I'm like in this like nostalgia place or something. I don't know. But my kids, they're really little and they have like discovered music that they really like. Like we never used to listen to Dua Lipa, but for whatever reason, they love Dua Lipa. Like go nuts, cry when we turn it off, like obsessed with her. And so it's become this thing where it's like we like Dua Lipa's like my number one artist on Spotify, even though I never listened to her before and don't listen to her when they're not in the room. Yeah. But it's like interesting that they've like picked up like that you have taste in music even from a young age that like isn't necessarily taught to you.
Absolutely. Yeah. And there must be like a simplicity in there or something that's speaking to them as kids. It's really, really interesting. There's that. Yeah. I mean, there's so many ways that you can approach music, which is, I think, the other thing of why it's like the universal language and it works for nearly everybody. There are some people that are like, music doesn't do anything for me, which I'm just like, wow, that's really
I know. I don't understand that. I know that there are people. And then like, I know that there's obviously like music is a is an auditory art form. So like people who can't hear, obviously they don't have the same relationship
Right.
to music that we would have. But even still, there are plenty of people who can't hear who do have relationships to music, which I
Mhm.
also find to be very interesting, that like that is still something that they respond, like that they can respond to.
Mhm. I was with someone recently that didn't have the ability to hear at a live show, and she was loving it, and she could feel the vibration in her body and just like the energy of what the performers look like.
Yeah.
And yeah, it does go back to that it's not just about hearing it through your ears, but it's like a feeling,
Right.
um, and the culture that surrounds it too.
Right, right. That's what I see. That's what I'm not plugged into, the culture of music in a lot of ways. Like, I mean, in some ways I am, but like the music, like a music festival would never see me there. Not once in your life. I'm like, no, the Coachella, my nightmare. Can't
Well,
believe people go.
that's one example of culture, but it's also like if you had a couple folks over for wine and there's like jazz
Yes.
playing in the background, it's just an element that adds to whatever the experience is, and it's an easy go-to element that most people can find something that works for whatever the environment is.
Yeah, and I feel like the other thing is like music is, for me at least, is like a talk, it's like a gateway. It's like a thing to talk to people about. It's an invitation for conversation. I think a lot of the times, like you put it on, it's like, oh, what are we listening to?
Yeah.
Oh, let's talk about this thing. So we
Yeah.
don't have to talk about the weather. But for me, books also do that. But it's a little bit harder because not everyone's into books, right? Like books is a little different, a little higher barrier to entry.
Mm.
Though I do think everyone has a relationship to reading and books, but sometimes it's just harder to get in, to find the like key on that. Okay. How do you decide what you're going to read next?
I usually decide what I'm going to read next just based on someone talking about a book, and I say, "Ooh, that sounds cool." That'll be one way. Another way is if someone trusted gives me a book, which has happened recently, and then, I'll read that. Or if I'm looking for help in some kind of way, and it's like, I want a book for that. So if it's like a spiritual, if I'm like, I'm feeling really not grounded, my spirit is off, I'll look into what book may help with that.
Like you'll just Google it.
Google it or ask around, maybe tweet an inquiry into the mouth.
Okay.
Um,
Uh-oh.
yeah, or maybe
Dangerous.
it's one that's like on my shelf that I haven't even started, and I'm like, oh, it's the time to read that.
Right, 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 right. What's the last good book someone recommended to you?
My neighbor and really good friend, she's an amazing writer and poet. Her name's Aja Monet. Everyone should read her poetry. She's fantastic. She actually gifted me a book for my birthday. It's a children's book, and it's called What Do You Do with an Idea?
Mm,
And she said it's one that's always inspired her. And I think sometimes it's just those simple books that speak to who we are inside. Cause it's like our, I mean, I don't want to say inner child, that sounds so cheesy, but there is like a kid in us that's always, I think, searching for something. So I don't know. Books sometimes just finding like a simple kid's book can be really special.
yeah. No, I think because like we complicate things so much.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. We complicate things, and that's what it is. Sometimes kids' books help to remind you how to find the simple pleasures in life.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I mean, I'm obviously been reading a lot of them, which I hadn't since I was a kid. And
Mhm.
I'm like, oh, this is a good message. Like, yeah, it's helpful to be like, there's this book that I love that my kids have. It's called like Little Monkey Calm Down or something. And it's like the monkey spills his ice cream. And it's just like one sentence per page. It's like, poor little monkey, he's having a hard time. He's feeling sad and mad and angry. Like, it's okay to cry. Take a deep breath. Snuggle with your blankie. Be still and relax. Like, sing a song. Feeling better? Great. Let's go have the rest of our day. And I'm always like, wow, yeah. Like, fucking yeah, that's all it is. Is like you're upset, acknowledge it. Let's fucking go on. Like, do your coping, take a second, feel shitty, and like we can re-enter. And I feel like as an adult, it's like I need to call everyone I know and scream about it and tweet about it and like be mad for a month. And little monkey's like, no, just snuggle with your blankie. Are there genres that you've talked about genres that you love? Are there any genres that you just will not read?
Genres that I will not read. I don't think. No.
No. You'll try anything. You'll try anything once. Okay, that's good. Do you
Oh,
ever do audiobooks?
I haven't done audiobooks in a while. I think that it's been replaced by really cool podcasts like The Stacks.
Hey, shout
Um,
out.
and
Product placement.
an audiobook is something that I would, listen to, be more likely to listen to like while I'm driving somewhere, but I
Yeah.
have done that more with podcasts recently.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like you're also like you listen to a lot of stuff. So I feel like maybe unlistening is like nice. Like reading it would be like an escape or TV or whatever.
Totally. And that's why like I prefer actual books than even reading it on like a Kindle or an iPad or whatever, because it just feels like a more tactile experience that's different than being on the computer all day, which I am a lot for work as well. So yeah.
Right. What is your ideal reading setup? Like, where are you? What is a time of day? Do you have a snack or a beverage? What's the temperature? What's the vibe if you're in your dream reading place?
Ooh, I love that. Well, the most likely place is just somewhere at home at that point in the day where it's really quiet. Maybe there's some birds chirping. I would do it on the couch with a little bit of pillows propped behind me. I don't need a beverage or anything because, like I said earlier, I don't need any distractions.
Okay.
My phone is like silent. It's somewhere else. It's not near me. Maybe a little incense burning or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Sage.
Okay.
Super cozy. I live for cozy. But also, like, if I could be somewhere else, like at the beach,
Hmm.
reading with the waves, like any peaceful environment like that. Just wherever there's as little distractions as possible. And if it is a sound, it's a consistent sound, like waves happening.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. Do you have a favorite bookstore?
Oh, I don't get to go to the bookstore a lot, but I always just think of Esalen Books in Leimert
Yes.
Park just because it is iconic and fantastic. It's Black owned, and that's all I need.
That's my favorite bookstore as well. There's a new Black owned bookstore in Inglewood called the Salt Eaters that's
Mm,
Black, queer, woman, femme owned and books. So all
nice.
books by Black women, femme, non-binary, transgender
Love that.
authors. Yeah, it's really, really cool. So you
You
should check
also
it
just
out.
reminded me of Reparations Club.
Yeah, Reparations Club is the
Yeah,
other one.
which is
Those are my three
great space.
fave
Mhm.
bookstores.
Okay.
Okay. This is sort of our lightning round. What's the last book that made you laugh?
Okay, definitely laughing in George Clinton's memoir. And the
Okay.
title is very long. It's something like they be like, "Hey, yo, George, ain't that something kind of hard on you?" Like that's the whole title
Right.
of the book.
And I'll link to everything in the show notes for everyone. So don't worry. What about a book that you're embarrassed that you've never read?
Embarrassed that I've never read. Okay. I don't think I've read enough Toni Morrison. Maybe I haven't even read Toni Morrison, to be honest. I should read more Toni Morrison for sure.
I feel like you would really like Toni Morrison. I feel like you should start with Sula. I think you would dig it in a big way.
I feel like there's a number of powerful Black women authors that I want to read more of.
I mean, same, hard same. I
Yeah.
feel like there's a lot because I feel like part of it is like we're not taught about them in school. And then all of a sudden you spent all this time reading all this stuff that was like not that good or important or relevant to your life. And then you become an adult and you're like, oh my God, I have to catch up with all the Tony Cade Bambara and Toni Morrison and Alice
Yeah.
Walker and Jamaica Kincaid and like all
Yeah.
these women where I'm like, how come I wasted my time with John Steinbeck?
I was recently reading a book of stories from Octavia Butler, and I
Mm.
never realized like how she was like ahead of her time science fiction writer.
Oh yeah. She
Like
was
I was
like
like, this is sick. This is like some Matrix, like far out, Yeah.
yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah. She was like a real like visionary. Like she
yeah,
was her book Parable of the Sower, I finally just read it, and starts in 2024, and like it's like a dystopia in California, and it's like the sky is full of smoke from all the wildfires, and I'm like, how did she know? And it's like
Mhm.
the president is like basically a Donald Trumpian kind of, the guy running for president is like basically Donald Trump. It's like wild. Like she
Yeah.
really just could see the world. Like she could see us in a
Yeah.
way that's just
And
like
then
wild.
the one that's mostly in conversation is like George Orwell 1984. And it's like, let's put that in the conversation too, you know.
Yeah. Yeah,
You think it could
always.
be Orwellian, it could be Butlerian.
Exactly. It could be Butler, and maybe it will start being, now that we're getting to 2024 and Parable of the
Yeah.
Store, we can change the narrative. Okay. A favorite book from childhood. I know you mentioned Berenstain Bears.
My favorite author from childhood was Roald Dahl,
Oh, yes.
which I think now when I've looked into who he is, he's kind of like problematic.
Yeah, he was like a Nazi, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he was a damn good
But those books slapped at 8 years old. I was
they
like, yes.
slapped.
I was like, James and that peach, my guy, all those bugs.
James and the Giant Peach, the Twits, the BFG,
The Witches,
the
Matilda,
Witch. Ah,
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. He
never left
had
me alone.
bangers.
Bangers, hit after hit.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and it was kind of weird and quirky, you know, like,
Yeah, really weird.
um, yeah,
I'm with you.
yeah.
Okay, if you were a high school teacher, what's a book you would assign to your students?
I really like the book The Untethered Soul. Have you read that?
No.
It's by Michael Singer. I think that's his name. And for me, that was a book. I haven't, sometimes, you know, like if you go back and read books, you're like, it's not hitting the same. But I will say I read it when I was like in my mid to late 20s or something. And it was like during a time where I felt really like I was just like spinning off of course, not any way that anybody would know, but just like with how I was viewing myself and my purpose. And reading that book totally gave me a new perspective with how to interact with the world.
I love that.
Mm.
Okay, I just have this one last question for you. I stole it from the New York Times. It's, if you could require the current president of the United States to read one book, what would it be?
Joe Biden hollers at me, Novena, what book should I read? He needs to read something that's just like, give him a little more. Mm.
Honestly, he definitely needs more.
You know, he needs to read like whatever is the most potent thing that James Baldwin has ever written or something like
Yeah, I agree. He could definitely afford to read some Baldwin. That's very good.
yeah, something
I
like
love
that.
that. I love this for Joe. Joe, you need to read some James.
Read some James. Also you had your prompts, and I think one of your questions was like one of the most embarrassing books you've ever
Oh,
read,
yeah, sure.
which I'm happy to answer. Although I can't really remember the name because I've blocked it out of my head.
Okay, well, I'll
But I
try to
got to a
remember for you.
certain age, and I was like, it's not even really an age. It's more so like so much time had passed before I was meeting a man that I felt was right for me, and I was like, you need to approach this a different way. Let's get down to the basics. And it was something, the book, I think I threw it away because now I'm in a relationship and I didn't want anybody to see it. Um, but it was something like How to Marry a Man or something like
Oh,
that.
it
Like,
wasn't Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Man by
no,
Steve
no, no.
Harvey?
Oh, cringe. Yeah.
I've read that. I've read that. It's really
Yeah, no, it was something like that. And it was just going in on how like men and women are different. And like it's an old book too. And I was like, maybe if I just read something traditional, it's just like maybe I'm too ahead.
Oh my God. Did any of it resonate? Or was it all just
Um,
like yucky?
it was it kind of resonated. I mean, just kind of I think thinking about like the different communication styles of people in
I see.
general.
Yeah.
Um, so maybe it hit that. But and it also reminded me of reading this book in college in communications class called You Just Don't Understand. And it's about how men and women communicate differently. And I'm like, I wonder if they still use that book because it feels very
Dated.
binary.
Yeah. Yeah. Yikes. Oh my God. I love it.
Yeah.
Okay. We're done for today, but Novena will be back on May 25th. I'm very excited. We're going to talk about music, pop music, Black women. We're reading Shine Bright by Danielle Smith. I'm really excited because she's a Bay Area gal like us, and she's really great and brilliant and has a really interesting story. Neither of us have read the book yet, so I don't know if it's any good. I've heard it's good. She's a great writer, so I'm excited. So everybody get your copy, and make sure you listen to Morning Becomes Eclectic. If you're in LA, you can do it on the Real Radio. If not, you can do it online or through the app. Novena, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. I hope I said something interesting.
Oh my God, you're so interesting. And remember, next time we're going to have to tell people how we know each other because it's like the weirdest, most roundabout way that you know my brother. Anyways, we'll tell the story.
Oh, okay, so stay tuned for that.
Stay tuned. That was a teaser. See you guys in a few weeks. Novena, thank you. And everybody else, we will see you in the stacks. Thank you all so much for listening, and thank you to Novena for being my guest. Remember, this month's book club pick is Shine Bright, A Very Personal History of Black Women in Pop by Danielle Smith, which we will discuss on May 25th with Novena Carmel. If you love the show and want inside access to it, head to patreon.com/thestacks to join the Stacks Path. And make sure you're subscribed to the Stacks wherever you listen to your podcasts. If you're listening through Apple Podcasts or Spotify, be sure to leave us a rating and a review. For more from The Stacks, follow us on social media at The Stacks Pod on Instagram, at The Stacks Pod _ on Twitter, and check out our website, thestackspodcast.com. This episode of The Stacks was edited by Christian Duenas with production assistance from Lauren Tyree. Our graphic designer is Robin McCrite, and our theme music is from Tigirigis. The Stacks is created and produced by me, Tracy Thomas.